Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shonen N Chill very first live show. Hopefully not last live show. Depends on how bad we embarrass ourselves as we go through this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, hi everybody. We're live.
Hello. Oh my God, we're live on the internet. Look at that. You got a little chat window in there and everything. This
Yeah.
is chat. This is my first time seeing this setup that he's got in function. Also, so I'm
Yeah.
just as impressed as you are.
Yeah, I spent my Sunday crafting this instead of voting. No, actually I did vote today. I voted yesterday and I threw it into the what's the house called in the middle of your town that's like important in English? Town
Capitol
hall?
building.
Yeah, town hall and Capitol building,
The
something like
town
that.
hall. Okay.
Yeah. So hi everybody. Welcome. Wait. Do I do it because it's on my Twitch?
Yeah. You can go. You can do it. You can do it.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to Shonen Chill, episode 33. Um, I am Oceaniz, and we are here with, of course, the one and the only Zenrotto.
Hello, everybody.
And yeah, this certainly is kind of weird, but hey, I'm digging it. So,
I like it. I like the little live thing you put on the end. Look at that. Look at that. That's valuing your craft. That's what that is.
yeah, I was like, hey, let's make this kind of cool, right? Since this is kind of a special deal. But all right, do we just want to jump straight into it, or do we want to
Yeah,
quickly?
let's go ahead and jump in. Let's drop the top threes.
Well, before we go into that, we will quickly mention that at the end of the show, we will be taking callers from Discord to make it
Oh
a
yeah,
bit of.
should we put that link in here so people can? We probably should.
Yeah. How about you share
I'll do
that?
that right now.
Yeah, because literally the moment I click on anything on Discord, everything falls apart in my layout.
I got it. I got it.
All right, thank you, Zen.
I got it under control.
Yeah.
So we're gonna yeah. So if you want to go ahead and join that Discord at the end of the show, we're gonna add a couple people in to call in, and we'll chit chat with you guys about manga or whatever. You can ask us questions, whatever you want to do. But we will be taking callers when we're done with the show proper.
Yeah. Also, just a very quick little side note. It just occurred to me. Back when I streamed regularly, I used to have an auto mod in my chat that I think it's every 30 minutes where no one writes anything. It shills my merch. So if you don't want to see that, just keep writing.
Just keep chatting.
I mean, if
Chat
you want,
hard,
if
or
you,
else capitalist oceans is gonna start raining down from the sky on you.
yeah. I mean, hey, if you end up if you end up buying my merch, hey man, what can I say? Um, but yeah. So yeah, let's jump into the top three. What are yours then?
Top three this week. People are gonna get mad at me as soon as I say it. I know they're gonna get mad at me.
Oh no.
So,
Oh no.
my number three was Undead Unluck. My number two was My Hero, and my number one was Jujutsu Kaisen. And I know, I'm gonna get accused all over Twitter of being biased towards Jujutsu Kaisen for putting a 9-page chapter as my number one chapter of the week. But I don't care. Peak Fiction makes the rules. All right.
I don't know. I don't know how much of a surprise this is. I thought we established that Gege could sneeze into a wet blanket, and you would call it Gold Rocky no swag. So like,
Absolutely. That's people don't understand, man. They don't get it.
oh no, people are already mad in the chat. uh, also, uh, I want to mention it on the air as well. Zen's mic blows out when he laughs really hard. So if I end up just sitting here laughing at my own jokes in silence, please trust me, he's laughing too. I'm not that unfunny.
The mental image of the chat thinking that you're just cracking up and dying, while on my end I'm just sitting here like Jesus Christ, it's doing it again. It's so funny to me.
Okay, my top three this week were Undead Unluck, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia. So pretty much the same deal. Like, we are so whipped by Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's yeah, man. We're just I can't think of a PG way to say this, so I'm gonna abandon the joke. But it would have been funny.
Yeah. Anyway, where do we start, Magic Man? What's your list say?
It looks like number one on the list right now is Candy Flurry.
That was cool, but my first thing I want to mention is Candy User a mistranslation? Because
Feels
popcorn
that
is
way. Well, remember it used to be sweets user. Not that popcorn is a sweet either,
yeah,
but it's
exactly.
like a snack.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but
So
candy user feels incorrect. It feels like it should be like sweets still,
yeah, or
or like
honestly,
junk food, but junk food user.
no. You know what? I think I want a petition to rename them snackers. Uh,
Snackers.
yeah.
Oh no, the chat's right. We already messed up. We're 2 minutes into the live show and we already messed up. It's supposed to be Vigilantes. We'll do that after Candy Flurry.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck it. We'll talk about vigilantes later. Not that there's much to talk about, but anyway. Um,
Oh no,
oh no. But yeah,
getting berated in real time.
I would call them snackers. Just sounds the best. Um, but yeah, the chapter itself was kind of cool. Um, like we got to see a bit more fighting choreography. The crybaby guy trying to look desperately cool in front of a broken camera fucking killed me.
It was so fun, and the best part is he keeps spouting like anime trophy lines.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, even he's like, I can't fight, save yourself, and she's just begging him to realize that the camera is broken and nobody can see him.
Yeah, that was so cool. And also, I like the popcorn user. Because you think someone has the ability of popcorn, you're like, oh, whatever, right? But he is just like popcorn Bakugo, basically.
Yeah, and they just explode, and he flicks little. It's kind of a cool power. It's like Bakugo but long range.
Getting major My Hero vibes. Nothing new, right? But
Getting major My Hero Academia vibes from every manga that I've ever read.
oh, hey, so I noticed that this is written on paper. You know what else is written on paper? It's just me. But yeah, like I thought this was a really cool I thought it was a really cool like chapter to kind of showcase that the guy isn't just like a complete idiot. I mean, he is an idiot, but he has skills and he has like a certain tenacity to him, even if it is kind of misdirected. But yeah, like I liked it. Kind of not super substantial again because a lot of it was just discount Bakugo getting beaten to a pulp, which is cool. And I assume because the cameras are broken,
Wait a
we're
minute,
gonna
wait a
see.
minute. Is the popcorn guy Bakugo and the other guy is Bakugo?
No. Oh fuck yeah, I messed up. Everyone's Bakugo.
Ocean's Mr. MHA, every character is just ripping off Bakugo.
I can't believe it.
This is the next stage of everything is ripping off of Naruto. It's just everything's ripping off Bakugo.
Well, I mean, we're at that stage. MHA is 8 years old almost. Like, it's time to people. But yeah, no.
Time to rally people.
What I think is gonna happen because all the cameras are broken. I think the main girl is gonna bust out the lollipops. Which
Probably. She's probably gonna lollipop and absolutely whoop his ass. Which
yeah,
I would like.
yeah.
Because I like her powers. It's cool.
I like her powers, and I also like. I thought it was really cool to see that one page where we get to see the Bakucorns. I'm stealing this from the chat. Power. You have this really like full page where it's just like him surrounded by exploding popcorn. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, like this is an okay chapter. What do you think?
I liked it a lot. I think that Candy Flurry has really cool panels for what is comparatively a really silly premise.
Uh-huh.
Like the one where the guy, the silly dude, gets blown up by all the popcorns, and then he's standing there like covered in smoke,
Mm-hmm.
spouting off the cool anime line.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's actually a good looking panel. And then like the zoomed up panel on her at the end, Lady Pretty. All
Yeah.
right, like this is good. The art's so good in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting because it's like it doesn't feel like something that should require a lot of polish or a lot of like substance. And to an extent, it doesn't have that. Like, I still think the art is still much weaker than it was in that first chapter. But regardless, it feels weirdly, I don't want to say ambitious, but like, it feels epic compared to what what it actually is about in a way, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
it feels much more like dynamic and intense and epic, and it's like I'm shooting popcorn at people,
Yeah.
but it's super cool. I really like Candy Flurry.
Hmm.
I'm praying to God that it does okay because people are really nervous because it's getting extra pages.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the Shonen Jump curse, isn't it? You just kind of have to always worry about all the nice shows getting canceled so that Roboco can release another volume.
So that Roboco can continue to live.
Yeah.
Just sucks the life force out of any good series that's under 50 chapters.
Yeah. But yeah, so for Flurry, I think my rating would have to be fun out of 10. Like I don't think there's much there.
Yeah, I'll go with Lady Pretty out of 10. That's my
Mm-hmm.
rating for Candy Flurry.
All right, do we do Vigs next?
Oh, I completely forgot already about that. I was ready to move on to the next. Yeah, let's do Vigilantes next.
Okay, Vigilantes. I liked it. I think the pace is weirdly slow for this final arc. I feel like in the last couple of chapters we really have not progressed much, but for what we have progressed, I like it. I like the back and forth between Koichi and Six. And I like Six kind of being stuck in his own head with imaginary O'Clock giving him ideas, which I am like 90% convinced that's just All for One taking over his brain, which like is cool. It's nice. It's a cool little thing that isn't like overtly stated, but is still like something you can actually substantiate. But aside from that, it was kind of like eh. I
Yeah, I
sound
mean
crackly.
it's a Vigilantes chapter. Yeah, you do sound a little bit. I thought it might have been my headset messing up, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's your audio being
Yeah,
crackly.
I
But
know, I know. Like OBS has been doing this thing where randomly it'll just cause my mic to crackle. It's really annoying. So you guys just gonna have to deal with that. I'm sorry, I haven't found a fix yet for that. But
rip.
yeah, rip. Well, let me see. Let me quick some additional software that might be trying to plug my mic. But yeah, so what do you think of Vigs?
It was okay. I mean, like you said, there's not a ton really going on, and once again, I do think my favorite part of Vigilantes is that every time there's a problem, someone's like, "Shit, call All Might immediately," which I think is kind of funny. Um, I don't really understand the whole like, aha, my body is made of explosive cells, therefore I can turn into goop, which whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a Thanos reference when he said you should have aimed for the head, but if it is, I'm groaning about that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the final page was actually genuinely super cool,
Yeah.
where Koichi slams back down and he's in the superhero pose, but he's got like kind of worried expression on versus the crazy whatever this beef jerky looking guy that he's about to fight is Sticks.
Hmm. Yeah. Also, I think it's cool that Six now pretty much just looks like All for One. Like he's
Yeah, he
just
just looks
raw.
exactly like him, just with a scar on his face.
Yeah, which is really cool. And yeah, like I'm excited for this fight. I will say I will agree with you on that. The whole melting thing was really weird because first they say like, "Oh, it's a breathing technique." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like he
He's not doing Tai Chi, bro. He's liquid. The man is slime. He's not just deep breathing.
Yeah, because to me that reminded me of when Toga says that she can kind of become invisible just through like a mindset martial arts technique, and I was already there when that was a thing in what was it, license exam. I was like, okay, that's kind of silly. And here's like, oh yeah, he's breathing really deeply, thus his skin is melting. I'm like,
He is
oh.
slime. All Might's fighting that slime villain that's got Bakugo in the beginning, and he's like, "Damn, it's meditating."
Foul villain, stop at once. This breathing technique will not save you. But yeah, no,
Deep breathing.
like obviously at the,
Slime monster.
like obviously at the end of the breathing technique was not that. Obviously, like the chat is already screaming at us that that's not what it was. But yeah, no, I know. Like the breathing technique was to focus his brain basically. Um, but it was
But if
still
he's doing that, you know what you do? You shoot him with your guns.
well. His whole thing is that he's so fast he can't react. So like I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna.
If you have enough time to look at what he's doing and process in your head, oh shit, he's doing a breathing technique. You can shoot him with your guns. This is why we need All Might to do everything, because the cops can't do anything.
All Might is just the only person in this universe who can do something else while also thinking about it. His power is multitasking, and that's it.
It's one for all's true ability. It's the ability to do more than one thing at one time. Foreshadowing the six quirks. Perfectly written.
Yeah, the six quirks is basically just he can have six thoughts at once as opposed to one. It's
He
just like,
can think 6 things at one time
yeah,
instead of just the one thing. Does
yeah.
that mean Todoroki can think 2 things, or can he think one thing but not very well?
He can
So
only
he's
think
like mixing
he can only think half of a thing, but two at the time.
two at the same time, but he never finishes his thoughts.
Yeah, so that's kind of it for me for Vigilantes, honestly, because again, I think my biggest gripe right now with this Vigilantes arc, it's just going kind of slow, in a sense of not that like, oh, we're spending too much time on, or I guess we are, like it's like in any one chapter there's very little that's happening, um, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird.
it's snail pace slow, man. Like all that happened this chapter was he got up and then they went outside.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, God, there's a lot of pages to do that. But
But
I really hope it looks like they're gonna start fighting next week, and I would like to see this fight because I think when the main guy's quirk is used well in like a combat setting, it's really visually cool
yeah,
and interesting. So
yeah, and honestly, like I'm growing on the art of Vigilantes. I really didn't like it for the longest time, but now I'm mostly okay with it, especially with how it's being used. It's weird. It doesn't have the how do I say it without sounding like a massive nerd? I can't. Okay, I'm just gonna sound like a massive nerd. But like it doesn't have the physicality of Hori's art, but there's something else to it, like a texture to it that makes it look pretty cool. I don't know how to explain it, but that's like my take on the art.
yeah,
Uh,
I remember back when the arc where the Space Needle or whatever the hell it is they're all in is like falling down,
mhm.
and All Might shows up. That drawing of All Might is like the worst thing. That's the most cursed image I think I've maybe ever seen. Is that drawing of All Might saving whatever the hell collapsing tower?
Mhm.
Uh, he looked better in the flashback, mandatory Mirko flashback that every My Hero piece of media is required to have.
Uh-huh.
But that first time he showed up in Vigilantes, I was like, oh no, I can't read this anymore. Jesus Christ.
Have you read the Vigilantes extra chapters, perchance?
I have not looked into Vigilantes for even a single second beyond what's on the app, but I have read what's on the app. So
Because there's an extra chapter where there's like a hero conference and gets busted by like a suicide bomber, and then Endeavor dispatches him, and that's the first time we get to see Endeavor in the Vigilantes art style, and the man looks like a refrigerator. Like he is so wide.
built like Chris Redfield.
He is literally just a head on top of a mountain of flesh. Like it's so funny. And yeah. So do we sign off on Vigilantes then? Is Vigilantes just a let's go out of 10?
Please move forward. Yeah, please just get something done out of 10.
Chop chop. Wallahi out of 10.
Don't have time for this shit. Out
Yeah.
of 10.
All right, what's next? What's next on the list?
Next up is Witch Watch.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure I read this chapter.
I'm not sure that it even matters if you did.
Yeah, cuz I mean I read it, but like did I read it? Like I don't know. Like I can't say if I retained any information about it. It was very
Yeah,
weird.
I other than like the very obvious and specific fetish stuff that went into making this chapter,
Yeah.
um, I'm just like, what? Who is this for?
Yeah. It's definitely one. It kind of reminded me of the teacher chapter where it's just like are
Yes,
we
it very much feels like the teacher chapter.
yeah, like is it are we trying to bide our time for something? Like it isn't really anything substantive. So yeah. Cuz also I'm not super sold on this side guy. Like he's interesting when he's reinforcing the main duo, but by himself I don't think I don't think I'm invested enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where's my cat girl that likes heavy petting, bro? That's all I'm here for at this point. All right, bring her back.
You
Bring her back.
you just want cat girls, all right, all right,
Where's my cat girl that just likes to get pet? That's what I'm here for.
all right, Mr. Otaku. We get it. You like the Nya-chan girls. We get it. You want you watch Moe cat girls 24/7. I don't know if that anime exists. It probably does. Everything exists if you think about it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure everything exists somewhere on the
Well,
internet. Somewhere.
I mean, of course. Uh, but yeah, like We really do not want to talk about this chapter, don't we?
No, well, I just I don't know how long I can stretch out the joke that the author likes to get stepped on. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of all that there was in the chapter. Like the rest, there was a couple of cool like back and forth with the acting, but honestly, as I said, I cannot tell you if I retained any information. It just didn't
Feels like
feel.
a Bleach filler episode as a chapter.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I have not watched a single filler episode of Bleach, but somehow I just know that I can co-sign that. I am
Trust
complete.
me on this.
I am completely uninformed and ignorant, and I will agree.
All right, so for Witch Watch, I give it bring back Cat Girl out of 10.
Which watch I give it a out of 10. What's next?
Next up is Dr. Stone.
Yeah, this was again kind of a chapter like last week, which is a bit disappointing to me, to be quite honest.
It was, but we got a little bit more crucial information in this one. So we know we got the teams, and we know how they're splitting up,
Mm-hmm.
which is how we're taking both of the big fighters out of the story, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is interesting because Senku's team, the only fighter that they really have is Kohaku, who's good, but not as good as Tsukasa or Hyoga, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got the new Perseus, which is dope because they made like a rocket engine,
Mm-hmm.
which is dope. And then we also got I don't know why, but I really like this series when they get emotional over how cool science is. Chrome's weeping
Yeah.
that like so that we're going to the moon with rocks. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get another dope ass big spread of Senku, and every single time they do one of those, he looks fucking great. He
Yeah.
looks really good in that new like cape thing, man.
Yeah, for someone who's literally just a wimpy, like, stick figure kid with a bunch of leek on his head, Senku's design really, like, works. Like, Boichi's really getting a lot of mileage out of it. Oh, shit, I see it in the chat, we didn't manage to stop it, the first merch shill. Damn it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, people have been talking, so maybe your merch shill is on different rules than you think it is.
Maybe, actually, I might... No, I don't even want to fiddle with it right now, because I might just crash the stream, because Jesus Christ, I am not good with technology. So, but yeah, no. Yeah, I think this was definitely one of those like typical Doctor Stone setup chapters, right? And that's really cool. Like I do like him. I guess I was expecting a bit too much because it was like the big 200. I was hoping that I was hoping that we'd get something more substantive, but honestly, if I don't look at the chapter number, this was like just a quintessential typical Doctor Stone chapter, and that's good, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just
I
good.
think for being the 200, I kind of like the way that it was set up because we've taken our first step toward the moon, right? Like that's been the goal for a while now, and we finally gotten to that point where you can sort of see it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're drinking out of cans that say Xenobucks on them.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but I don't know. I feel like Dr. Stone kind of always does this because Dr. Stone builds itself out the same way that Senku like builds his tech in the series,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like, oh, here's our roadmap, and this roadmap is exactly what we're gonna do, and then that's how we're gonna get there. And they went ahead and did that big time in this chapter, which I really like. Something about it is quaint and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of any other way to put it than just like this. It felt Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
This felt Dr. Stone like crazy.
Okay. Yeah, like I can kind of see that. I'm seeing in the chat right now someone wrote that this feels like the end of an anime season kind of chapter. And honestly, now that I've read that, I totally agree. Cuz like
Yeah, I can see that.
looking back over these pages, I can like hear like an ending song playing and the credits starting to be superimposed over the final scene, right? Like it definitely has that quality. So that's interesting. But yeah, like I'm super excited to see what they do now. It seems like we're speeding up with it's cool because it's like the pace of the story speeds up in accordance with the technological advancements that they have, right? Because now that the Perseus can travel so fast, I assume the pace of the story is also going to get pretty fast as well. And I think that that's a really cool, like, what's the, again, nerd term, like structural parallelism between the story itself and the actual structure of it. So that's cool.
Like how you keep calling yourself a nerd, like, if you didn't know these words and you were making a podcast about fucking manga, shonen manga specifically, that it would be cool. But because you know these couple of terms.
You know what? Shonen manga, like battle shonen manga specifically, is the genre of chads. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you
It's
read,
just like it's like the Chad versus the Virgin meme, and it's all like seinen manga around the Virgin, and the Chad is just like Naruto and Bleach and Hunter x Hunter.
yeah, look, why the fuck do you want to have like an existential crisis when you could just read about the power of friendship for the 17th time? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, so Dr. Stone gets a nerd out of 10 from me. And from a couple of people in the chat as well, from what I can see.
Yeah, Dr. Stone for me gets I really love Dr. Stone out of 10.
All right.
One thing I do want to mention before we go on is I'm a little nervous because Dr. Stone has a tendency to do this. They'll be like, okay, we're splitting up into teams, and now the only team that matters is the one that Senku is on. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to juggle them all or if they're just going to do the same thing and they're just going to be like, okay, we're following Senku and the rest of you just, see ya.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
But
we're
yeah.
losing a lot of fan favorites on these teams. We're losing Tsukasa, we're losing Taiju, we're losing Ukyo, we're losing Hyoga.
Yeah, well, what can I say? It's either Senku or bust.
Yeah, Senku is kind of the big dog of this series, so
Yeah, also
we'll see.
I cannot believe that Boichi just got away with recycling a main character design from one of his other series and just
From the Sunken Rock guy.
yeah, it's just buff
Yeah.
Senku.
It really is just ripped Senku.
Like it's literally just ripped Senku who has sex on screen. That's it.
That's Chad Senku after he saves the world.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, Senku in Doctor Stone has not had sex on screen yet. We could
Give it time.
give it time.
He brought Kohaku with him on his team, so you give him time.
What the fuck do you mean Kohaku? I was thinking Dr. Zeno.
Well, no, they're on different teams. He split them up, unfortunately.
Oh, well, people have chased the vertical tango across further distances. That's not gonna stop him.
Split them up on purpose to make it more exciting when they meet back up.
How exhilarating!
This this is all his elaborate ploy for a dramatic romantic reunion with Zeno.
Oh, he is 10 billion% about to come. And we are officially age-rated, probably. This is the part where I feel like I'm laughing alone.
I'm trying really hard not to laugh loudly. I'm really doing my best to laugh at an acceptable volume.
Also, someone pointed out in the chat, which I think is also important. Boichi did start out drawing porn, right? Like his first.
That's why there's so many shots of Kohaku's bare ass.
Yeah, I mean his very first published work was a Harry Potter hentai. For those of you who didn't know, definitely don't look it up. We're not encouraging that kind of stuff here.
This is a PG show.
Yeah,
This
is a family-friendly show. The only thing we accept here is harrowing discussions on the horrors of capitalism. But some ass? Nah, bro.
No ass acceptable.
No. Well, that is why we don't talk about Boruto very much. Oh, let me drink. Oh. What's next, man?
Next up is Mashle.
Mashle. Why don't you go first? I feel like I've been taking the first slot today.
Mashle popped off. Mashle always pops off, so that's not a very good descriptor of it. Mashle's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
But so we got a little bit of lore finally on like the bad guy's plan, and you were pretty much dead on that
Mm-hmm.
Mashle was built to be like his perfect body, which is I assume is part of why he's like ripped as hell
Mm-hmm.
and can just fuck shit up so well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it does a really good job of explaining like all of this cool stuff while not losing the humor.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mash gets overwhelmed by the revelation and he just goes to sleep for a little bit.
Yeah. Like, one thing I genuinely love about this series is whenever Mash engages with these serious ideas, but every time he does it, it's like he himself takes it so seriously that it ends up being funny. Like when he doesn't remember the guy's name from a couple of chapters ago. He's like, "I'm so sorry," and he looks so genuinely upset.
So actually put out by it, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and like in this chapter as well, he's like, "Man, this is heavy. Oh my god, this is a lot to take in. I need to take a nap. Oh man, I hope this doesn't." Like, it's so sincere and pure, and I love it. It's so funny. Um, so yeah, and I also really like the lore regarding Adam and Wahlberg. So that was pretty cool. And I like how we're about to
Yeah,
see
I
some.
kind of hope that they fight at some point because it seems like they've just been standing around talking at each other for a really long time. So I do hope they actually fight. Um,
Yeah,
but I
but
like Wahlberg. I get like Dumbledore calming vibes from him.
yeah, an
I need him to
innocent.
hang out and give friendly advice.
Yeah, because Innocent Zero is basically just discount Voldemort, except in this one chapter, he's explained his own motivation better than Voldemort did in the entire movie series of Harry Potter,
That is
specifically the movie
true.
series. So yeah, he just doesn't want to die, and he thinks death is a weakness. Which, like, yeah, I can jiggy with that. Um, but yeah, this was a really good chapter. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm kind of surprised that the Thorny guy has a god wand as well.
Yeah, especially since he was like an artificial. Maybe that was the wand of the person he used to. I'm not sure I fully understand what he means. That he was like made from the corpse of someone else, and he's like not a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that means maybe it's that person's wand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not sure, but it's still cool. He's got a Bankai wand.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely cool, and you know, with Mashle, with Mashle, the nice thing is that even if the lore seems like a bit confusing at first, you're always going to end up in a situation where A, it'll either be explained better later, or B, it just won't matter. So, I'm chilling.
Yeah. Also, I think one of my favorite things that Mashle's ever done is the badass like boast he just drops right here, where
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Doesn't matter if my life has meaning or not, I'm unstoppable."
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next page is Gremlin Mashle saying, "Bring it."
Yeah, yeah, that's so cute. Like, Mash in
I
general is
love that.
so endearing. I love him. He's such a nice guy. Um, so yeah, I'm seeing people suggest rawness and swag out of 10.
Always. That's
Oh,
that's the rating that Mashle gets every single week.
pretty
Rawness
much.
and swag out of 10.
Napping out of 10, but for the right reasons. Um,
Napping for bodily health out of 10.
mhm. What's next?
The Elusive Samurai,
Which was?
the child slavery edition. they're they're really laying hard on that in this little arc they're in right now.
Yeah, but I want to say when the guy started talking like exclusively in number values, and you saw the value for the main guy slowly increase as he was speaking, I thought that was actually really cool. Like, it's such a neat way of characterizing not just a person, but like the relationship to another person.
Children are currency out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a really cool little gimmick that he used in this one, and it really characterized the bad guy as genuinely a piece of shit. Like, it was really good.
Yeah, it was this whole like they do such a good job of making all the bad guys just nasty. They're
Hmm.
just gross. I hate them all.
Hmm.
I really hope this guy gets killed real
Yeah,
bad by our boy.
yeah. And I mean, it seems like that's what's leading into, because the boy is like has like learned an actual attack now, the attack of kindness. You know,
Killing people out of sweetness.
killing people with a sword named kindness. Like that's kind of just the vibes I was
Also, I
getting.
really hope that the new guy, I don't know anyone's name in this fucking series, sorry. I really hope the new guy with the two swords, because he like led the other guy away and he was like, yeah, I let you out in private because I know you're actually the strongest. I really hope the next chapter is our boy beating the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I
that'd be
really
cool.
like this new guy.
Not enough to remember his name though.
Well, okay, I'm not remembering anybody's name. I've done my best. I just can't do it.
Look, man, I know every single character in My Hero Academia. I don't have enough RAM for the rest of this shit.
I didn't even remember that the main guy's name was Chojumaru until he said it.
Is his name even
Uh,
Chojumaru? Isn't that his fake name? Isn't it Toshiyuki?
Is it? I don't know, dude. There's too many fucking syllables in this shit, man. Yuji, perfect. 4 letters, clean. Yuta, perfect. 4 letters, easy. Don't hit me with all this shit with a non-memorable cast.
Jujutsu Kaisen admirer postulates that every series is inferior to Jujutsu Kaisen. Argument 1, names too long.
Name too long, too confusing. Gojo, 4 letters, easy.
Now to think about it, Jujutsu does have a lot of 4-letter names, doesn't it?
Yes. Toji,
Toge, uh,
Maki.
Maki, yeah. Uh,
See, that's the magic number. Mista hates Jujutsu Kaisen.
oh no. Final chapter, Mista shows up and just shoots everyone. Yeah, everyone now in the the chat is also writing down all the 4-letter words.
How did we forget Toto?
Miwa. Yeah, no, it's interesting, but I definitely do think that it's kind of a weird thing, because like obviously the author wanted to make a historical manga, so we can't really hold it against him. But in effect, I do definitely think that the insistence on these long Japanese names does end up being difficult for us specifically, right? Because these are names
Yeah,
that
well,
are
I'm sure the Japanese
different.
readers have no problem with it.
Well, yeah, because these are also like historical figures, right? So
Right.
like you know, if someone says Winston Churchill in a manga, which you know could happen, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, that guy. I know that name. It's
The
long.
Churchill manga gonna fucking bang.
Oh, dude. Like when that historical Europe-centric manga comes out. Oh wait, it's called Attack on Titan / Full Metal Alchemist.
Obviously, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood. That's what Europe actually was like.
That I mean, you know what? I did have an exam.
Vampires walking around.
I did have an exam on British history the other week, and like I gotta say, Jonathan Joestar definitely did appear at least 4 times.
Hell yeah. The goat.
The goat.
The absolute goat.
Writing an essay on like 18th century social customs, and one of the sources in my bibliography is just Phantom Blood by Hirohiko Araki.
That's far too powerful. That's too much information.
The MLA crashes because that is too much good citation. God, I fucking hate citing shit in essays. Anyone who's been to college in the chat can definitely empathize. Like, I fucking hate citing shit, man.
Yeah, just let me use ideas. I don't have to tell you where they're from. You find out where they're from. Google that shit.
Yeah.
Google it on your own.
No, it's especially egregious when like you Google shit and then you find that the paper that you have to cite is written worse than your essay. And it's like, why do I have to cite someone who's dumber than me? Like, what the fuck?
I have to give credit to this idiot.
Yeah. Anyway, how did we get on this?
I don't know. How did we get to citing? I have no idea. Long Japanese names confusing for my tiny white boy brain.
Right.
How are you gonna give him an alias in a series where both of his names are unrecognizable?
How are you gonna give him an alias that is just the exact same length as his original name? Like,
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you about either one, man. At least you remember that it was an alias. I was sitting there like, oh, that's his name. Great.
yeah, no, to me it's just like because I remember Toshi, because that's what I'm trying to call him in my brain. I think I called him on the show a couple of times that as well. So Shojumaru just immediately comes to me as yes, that is one of his aliases. And oh man, I don't know. Like I definitely do struggle with. Oh no, it's Tokiyuki. Is it? I don't know. The chat will have me on that one. But
I trust the chat. I trust the chat.
yeah, it's not
They're,
Toshi.
they're
That's
good. They're good boys.
yeah, Toshi is All Might. Filthy MHA fan. Trying to
Trying to self-insert All Might into other universes.
Okay, mister, this manga would be better if everyone was named Yuji.
I'm not saying it would be better if everyone was named Yuji, but I am saying every manga ever would be better if Gojo Satoru was in it.
I was about to say, like, you're not going to tell me that you wouldn't give this an immediate 10 if Gojo was in it.
If Gojo just showed up in it, it would be in my top 3 of the week for sure.
Like, no explanation, he's just there in the
No
background.
explanation. Yeah, he's just walking by the fight scene that they're in.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so what do we give this?
Well, the chat has some very good recommendations. The chat recommends child slavery out of 10, capitalism out of 10, which is the funniest thing ever, right on the tail of child slavery out of 10.
Do we just combine them into child labor out of 10?
Child labor out of 10. Yeah, that's good.
All right, the good is definitely the word to use here. I can't wait for someone to clip us saying child labor is good.
Well, you made it easy now. You just read it out.
What do you mean? You said it as well.
I just said it was. Hey, I never said where on the ranking system that child labor out of 10 landed. It could be anywhere out of 10 on this.
Yeah. Look at this cancelled man trying to defend himself from the masses. All right. What's next?
Next up, we're in the top 3s now. I think, unless
Really?
I missed one while
Already?
trying not to.
Already?
I think
Damn.
so. I think so. Well, we had a lot of chapters where we were just like, yeah, this exists. Okay,
All right.
moving
Yeah.
on. Yeah. So it's Undead Unluck.
Dog.
Dude, Undead Unluck has been just gas for weeks.
Dude, I thought this summer fight was now going to be like a drawn out bore fest. And it's just one chapter done, like perfect combination. We get a reintroduction of almost all the abilities. And it's just fucking goated. Like, holy shit. This was so good. And the fucking thing at the end with the fireworks. Fuck, man. Kino.
Oh god, yeah, where he's like, I hated all of you, and then you realize that the girl has her eyes open and she's looking at him.
Yeah.
So he's lying and he really did care about him. I was like, oh, fucking adorable.
Yeah, like people liking each other, goat. Like interpersonal connections, kinography. Like don't even talk to me. I mean, do because you're my co-host and I love you. But also, like, man.
After Jujutsu Kaisen for so long, anytime another character's like, "Hey, I care about you," I'm like, "Yes, please, give me more of that, please. I need that."
Maybe that's just, maybe that's just like a symptom of, as you grow older and you realize that the world is the way it is. You're like, the basic show of kindness is the greatest fantasy I could imagine in my shonen battle manga. So yeah.
The chat asks, "Can untruth affect speaking?" Yes, it can. He did it to back when Shen still had it. He would do it to his little assistant as like a punishment.
Yeah.
He would force her to say mean things to him when she didn't really want to.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's cool because it's like this quick little chapter explained the abilities in better ways than some of the actual ability like info drops in the past.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Undead Unluck since like in like the past month or so. It's been so smooth. It feels like one of my big problems for a long time with Undead Unluck is it's just like clunky exposition drops that are just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not done that in so long, despite dropping plenty of information.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's just flowing naturally. It's flowing well. You're not really pulled out of it anymore to talk about it. Like, God, that chapter where Wheeze or whatever the hell, Wheezing, went to talk to Billy the Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to die. This is awful.
Aww.
They're just standing there just
Menacingly.
spouting facts that they should already know at each other. Like, I
Mhm.
can't do this anymore. It has not done that at all. Even though it's been shooting out a ton of information,
Mhm.
still, it's been just great and flows super nice. And again, the art beautiful.
Mhm.
That big spread of Andy and Fuko spreading his blood everywhere,
Mhm.
so good.
Yeah, like
Uh,
you know how earlier someone said that the Doctor Stone chapter felt like an end of season thing for an anime season? This chapter for me felt like watching the storyboard for a scene that will have like the opening play as an insert song.
oh yeah, the OP is definitely playing in this fight.
Yeah, like it was just perfect. Like you have everyone coming together and using their abilities for like a big bout, and then at the end you get the big fireworks and the emotional hook with the flashback to Shen and his found family. Like it's just so good. Like so many pieces just kind of came together, and it ended up being really really enjoyable as a result of it. Like also just like I saw it earlier on Twitter when someone posted about like showing Fuko and Annie interacting, like just seeing how close they've gotten, and the fact that I can see them be this close without being grossed out is in of itself a huge achievement considering how this series started out. Like it's
Oh god, yeah. I feel like we harp on that chapter a lot, but I can't stress enough how awful it was.
well, it's not just that it is awful, it's the fact that I now feel perfectly fine with like wanting them to, be together and interact, which is a huge achievement considering that initialization of their relationship was so bungled. Like right? It was so terrible. It's just crazy to my brain that it managed to do such a turnaround. But yeah, like this chapter was great.
It
Really,
also has
really
a
great.
really great gag in it. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but after he sprays his blood all over Summer
Mm-hmm.
and they blow it up with Untouchable, the his sword when coming back to him, I guess he has a little bit of unluck left in him, and it goes right through the side of his head. And Fuko does not react at all, but the other two guys in the background are like freaking out. It's a really funny panel.
Aw. But yeah, like yeah, I'm actually really interested to see if this can blow up once it gets an anime. Because it kind of seems
I
to
don't
have
know,
all the
man,
ingredients.
because that opening is tough. And it's
Yeah,
not just chapter 1. There's a few where it's like, God.
yes, but and this is like, you know, what do you Americans say? Monkey's paw? Uh where it's like that might work to its advantage because anime fans are gross.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
There are definitely at least some people who are like, yeah, that first chapter. Yeah.
Yeah, plus, the moment that happens, you're gonna when that first episode comes out and people hear that it's controversial, you're gonna have the anti SJW Anitube formation pushing those
Oh, that's
numbers.
true. Yeah, they're gonna formation B the shit out of that and just be like, actually, it's incredible, you babies.
Yeah, and then they'll realize that there is no more assault after a couple of chapters, and then they'll drop it and be like, "Oh, it's the SJWs got to Undead Unluck. How did they do it?" It's like
The
Obama
SJWs
censors us
strike
once
again.
again. But yeah, so I can imagine actually blowing up, again, kind of for the wrong reasons at the start, but it's the kind of thing where it's actually the same as with the manga in a way, right? Where it gets a lot of attention because of a very bad taste opener and then kind of wins people back by being genuinely good. Like I feel like that's the way the anime would work out if it ever does blow up. If it's ever made, we talk about it with
Yeah.
certainty, but we don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's easy to just assume these days, but you never know.
Yeah, like because I've had some people say like, "Oh, why does he keep talking about anime adaptations that aren't even made? Does Oceans know anything?" Like, no, trust me. I'm
No, we're just violent speculation people. Like we
yeah, like literally the only insider connection, quote unquote connection I have is that I've talked to Araki's editor once, and that's it. And he didn't tell me anything like secret. That's it.
Oh god.
Uh, But yeah, um, do we move on in that case? Since I seem like we're circling just around to saying it's great.
Yeah. I think we'll sign off on that with a cute fireworks out of 10.
Yeah, warmth and happiness out of 10.
Warmth and happiness.
Yeah.
Much needed, because now we're moving on to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Also, just to clarify, because I'm seeing Ab lose it in the chat, I, chatted with him a little bit in DMs. Didn't talk. Like, I wasn't in VC telling him to make another part in Italy. Don't freak out. As I said, no insider info. But yeah, are we on Jujutsu then?
We are on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
Pain, so much pain all the time. It's just, oh my god.
This is one of those chapters where it's like it's painful not because of the content, but because of obviously the
Well,
uh
both for me, but yeah.
like
So I'm sure everybody knows by now, but for those that don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be on an assumed 1 month break,
mhm,
but it is technically indefinite. The 1 month thing is just Akutami's assumption of when he's going to come back. So I mean, it's reasonable to think it could be a month, it could be longer. We don't know.
mhm,
So you notice it, if for those of you that have read the chapter at the end, it just says next chapter coming soon.
mhm.
No date on it.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, it sure would be nice to, and you know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's Shonen Jump that made him take the break," and I'm like, they made him take the break because Jujutsu Kaisen is making absolute absurd amounts of money.
Yeah.
Um, if it wasn't making this kind of money, they never would have offered that to him.
Yeah, have you looked at Gege's extended explanation, the one with the comic that he drew to explain his situation?
Yes.
Yeah, like man, it sounds rough. Like it
Yeah, just the whole part of him saying like, I thought I could just be okay and take a couple days off, but clearly I can't. I can't work through the pain like other mangaka can.
Mhm.
I was like, Jesus Christ, what a terrible like industry standard.
Yeah, exactly. It's annoying because it's like it's so emblematic of a terrible, terrible industry that really just does not want to learn whatsoever. Like, at the very least, I hope that this inspires a better culture of taking care of yourself because it seems to me like this situation was also partially just, you know, Gege struggling at the start of the year and not taking enough breaks and not being allowed to take enough breaks to really recover properly. So like I don't know, like in a perfect world, this would lead to Shonen Jump reconsidering and saying, hey, our biggest golden duck is struggling. Maybe we should normalize breaks a bit more often. But obviously that won't happen, right?
Never gonna happen. And you know, all the people who are saying like, oh, you know, well actually it was Shonen Jump that told him to take the break. So actually it's okay. Yeah, let's not forget that last time he had to put in draft pages because they made him, while they were supposedly begging him to take a break, they made him do multiple color pages,
Mm-hmm.
like 3 color pages for the magazine,
Yeah,
in addition
exactly.
to a full chapter. So obviously they're not that worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very, very unfortunate. And I really, really wish Gege all the best. Because it's clear that this is someone who is very passionate about their work. And I just hope that he doesn't end up a victim of both the Shonen Jump grind and the crazy, like not crazy, but like the unhealthy work ethic that a lot of sections of the Japanese industry and really a lot of the capitalist world ends up pushing on its people. So that really is very, very unfortunate. But do we want to talk about the content?
It tore me up when he revealed that he reads the social media like response, and how like he was apologizing for the draft pages because he knew everyone hated it. I was
Yeah,
like, man, I fucking hate the internet.
yeah. It's one of the. That's the thing, right? It sometimes feels like you can just criticize these people because they're these distant figures, but then you realize that most of these new mangaka especially are pretty young. Most of them speak functional English, and most of them are on social media one way or another. Like the fact that Hori probably reads English tweets about My Hero Academia kind of kills me.
Oh God, I can't even. That must just be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Not MHA twit Horikoshi. Turn around.
Yeah, just leave.
Don't come in.
Um, but yeah. But content wise, this chapter I thought was pretty cool. Like it's basically just the finale, or not even the finale. It's like the epilogue to the Maki kills everything arc.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about this chapter. And to an extent, I get it. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, Naoya was a wasted character," which I don't agree with. I feel like that's gonna be the criticism that everyone has about Jujutsu Kaisen all the time. Is they're just gonna be like, "Oh, this character didn't stick around for 300 chapters. What an absolute waste of fucking time." And it's like, shut up, stop it. That's just the kind of story structure that Jujutsu Kaisen has. This is characters are here to serve their role in the narrative and then be done with. We're not going to get a 45 like chapter explanation of Naoya's backstory and all this stuff. Like Naoya's here and he got killed. And a lot of people also didn't like that the mom killed him. I liked that a lot actually
I love that.
because it it raises a bigger question. Like I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, the chapter was about the whole arc was about Maki. Maki should have killed him." And I was like, "Well, that would have been fine." But when you bring in the mom as the one who kills him, you kind of bring in that discussion of like, yes, her family was awful, but also they're victims, right? Like the mom is a victim of all of this stuff too. She's just as much a victim of the nightmare of fucking being as Zenin as Maki is.
Yeah.
And so, and yeah, she was awful to Maki, so you can't discount the fact that she was also an abuser. It's very complicated. But at the same time, it it's just a good critique of like you remove cursed energy from the equation, right? Like you remove the ability that these people have over the mom or over anybody else who is powerless, and they're not willing to stand for it anymore, right? Like the mom isn't sitting there being like, "Oh no, I'm a loyal Zenin, not you now. Yeah, I'm gonna help you." She fucking kills him because he's the figurehead of this horrible, horrible culture that ruined her family, and she has like sweet little moment where she remembers that at one point they were happy.
Yeah.
And they're not, and the reason they're not is because of these people.
I just want to quickly confirm something because it just dawned on me that I'm not sure. Did Maki also harm her mom, or is her mom fine?
It appears as though she cut her mother's throat. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because to me that it's just so cool that, or cool. It's very very interesting to me that essentially in her final moments, freed from having to live as a Zenin, her mom chooses to, in essentially a final act of defiance, to try and stab and kill what essentially represents, as you said, the rot within the Zenin clan and essentially Jutsu society. And honestly, Naoya enters the story with his first words essentially being, "Any woman who cannot walk behind her man must be stabbed to death." And then he gets stabbed to death by a woman who walked behind him. Like, to me, that is perfect. That's literally the best way he could have died. Like,
I completely agree. Love it.
yeah, like obviously Maki ripping him to pieces for 3 chapters would have been also nice. But I think the fact he just gets killed by an old lady who just resented him for his entire life, and he dies pathetically on the ground, stabbed in the back, the coward's wound. That is exactly what Naoya deserved. Like, that's it. That Naoya was the kind of character that deserved to die a pathetic, ignorant death. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, he
100%.
Yeah.
Fuck now, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna pretend that he couldn't have been a cool major antagonist, but you could say that about a lot of characters. And that was clearly not what he was about. And, I'm fine with it. And it's more like, the thing is that obviously we kind of don't care much about Naya as a person. We don't care much about Maki's mom as a person, but we care about Maki and we care about Jutsu society as a whole because it reflects onto Yuji. And so we end up with a situation where what matters aren't really the characters, what matters is the theory behind it, the poetry, right? You have these opposing forces of the patriarchal traditional system that is slowly but surely getting eroded by its own misgivings. So I just really like it. Like, and the fact that Gege managed to create this in 9 pages at a time when he's really not doing well makes me very curious to see how this will look in the volume release. And this also makes me incredibly impressed. So yeah, I really like this chapter. There wasn't much to it, but what was there was really good and just opened so much cool stuff. Also, just for like critical analysis, right? Like the Zenin arc pretty much single-handedly made feminist readings of Jujutsu Kaisen not just possible, but pretty simple as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, not difficult to do.
Yeah,
Thing that I was gonna say, and I just blanked completely on it.
that's okay. What was it
Completely
about?
blanked on it.
Zenin clan,
Uh
misogyny.
let's address a couple of the elephants in the room.
Uh huh.
Um, with where this is gonna go. The first one being, is Maki cursed?
Uh huh.
Did Mai's words to her when she died curse her
Mhm.
in the way that Nanami was doing his best not to do to Yuji when he died?
Mm.
I
Interesting.
I can't help but think about that every time I look back at that scene where all she says right before she dies is destroy everything. And then you see this panel afterward at the very end where they explain that it didn't just end at the villa. It ended at her hunting down all of the ones that weren't there.
Mhm.
There's 27 people that she looked for later, like plenty of time to snap out of the sadness and the doom and gloom, and she went after them all and straight up executed them all.
Mhm.
Is she getting driven by something else more than just like, how much of this is her getting revenge for her sister and how much of it is something else, and could that impact Maki in the story, like, going forward? what
Well,
what does everything mean?
well, to me, just the one thing that stands a bit in the barrier that is that we haven't really explored yet if cursing a person requires cursed energy, because there was obviously not a lot of cursed energy in that connection. But honestly, to me, it's almost more interesting if it isn't like a curse, because then you get this idea that humanity doesn't even need the connection to the cursed energy and the root of evil, because our own emotions and our connections end up constituting a so-called curse as well. So no, it's definitely interesting, and I think it's like stuff like that that makes death in Jujutsu Kaisen such an interesting topic, right? Where you end up having all these possible ideas, like you mentioned Nanami. Like the fact that he, before he dies, he thinks, "Oh shit, I need to be careful with what I say." Like that's actually really cool. Now that you mention it, that's really cool.
Yeah, he makes the like conscious effort not to say something that could have ramifications right before he dies.
Hmm.
And Mai obviously did not do that. um I always think of the Yuji and Nanami scene every time I see the Maki and Mai scene,
Hmm.
because it lingered so hard on what she said, and it makes me think about it.
Hmm.
Second elephant in the room, we know from hidden inventory that um, you have to kill. I think we know from both hidden inventory and from the exchange arc that you have to kill a sorcerer with cursed energy, or they can come back as a cursed spirit. I've
Uh
seen a lot of
huh.
people sucking down copium with this. That's going to be, now he is going to come back
Uh huh.
as a demon ghost.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Of course, you ask me while I'm drinking. I think it could be interesting, but I don't know what else Naoya would bring. Like, unless he really comes back, like literally as the spirit of misogyny to haunt the women in the story. I don't really know
The
what else.
cursed family comes back and it's all of them and also Naoya, and they're like, yeah, I'm I'm the fear of natural disasters. Oh, I'm the fear of the forests. I'm the fear of death. I'm the fear of the matriarchy.
I'm the fear of women having rights. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like I don't know what else he would bring to the story at this point. Because I see people you mentioned, I see people say that he's a wasted character, but to me, I just don't feel like there was much more that he could bring, right? He was there to show us that the Zenin clan and society at large is just rotten to the core. That there's very little redeemable about them, and so he showed that. So I don't know what else he would do. Really, that's kind of my
Yeah,
answer to
I
that.
agree. I don't think he's gonna come back. If he does, it's just some fucking. I don't know. A lot of people wanted to see him fight Megami, but I don't feel like Megami was his opponent. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a fight that makes a whole lot of sense from a thematic standpoint. They don't even know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Megami's out of the Zenins. He's not dealing with all that stuff. Um, I do like how as Naoya is crawling away, he's still being a misogynist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like he's still saying, "Stupid girl couldn't even kill me," as
Yeah.
he's bleeding from a horrible head wound. That she took him out in one hit, and he's still like, "Ha, you dumb woman." See, that's the one thing I'm gonna miss about Naoya is his comedic evil.
Yeah.
The big Dio vibes that I got from him are they're gonna be hard to replicate.
Yeah, he's like Dio if Dio was like a little piece of shit. So basically, part one, Dio.
Yeah, Dio before he got powers. Then
Yeah. Are we ready to move on in that case?
um, yeah, I just want to also add in that I was not ready to see Momo weep over Mai yet. I was really hoping that was gonna be later.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
that
that
was
was not
something I
great.
didn't even think about really. That was gonna be a thing, but yeah, of course she would feel for my. So yeah, just pain all around.
Just pain. It's all
Yeah,
pain all the time.
yeah,
And now I'm not gonna get any potential happiness for a month. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, let's move on.
yeah.
Uh, My Hero Academia
Right,
rounding out the episode.
right. Bet. Let me take off my shirt real quick.
Turn
Oh.
on the fan.
You think I'm joking? I legitimately just took it off because it's so hot here. Like we're having our first heat wave of the year, and it's oh god, it's real bad. But yeah. So My Hero, what did you think?
I liked it. Um, Negan is all kinds of fucked up, and I'm starting to get mad at Horikoshi because, like, for God's sake, just let me have something that I like, please. Leave the things that I like alone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm assuming that she is dead. I guess that's not confirmed, but it certainly looks like she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like Deku being like, come and apologize to this child that you. Let's make sure that Ares sees you again.
I
That's great for her is to look you in your fucking face right now, and she's like 8 years old.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's what he means though. Like I think what he means is if he can see in Overhaul that he regrets his actions. I don't like from the dialogue. I did not get that Deku actually wants to put him in front of Eri. I think it's more about like his vibe in a sense that he's like, oh,
All right, if he's just checking the vibe, then it's okay. But if he's like, go apologize to that traumatized little girl right now, I'm gonna be so mad.
yeah, I don't think so. Like, let me actually pull up the chapter real quick so I can look at the dialogue because I definitely got the vibe from it that it's just about the energy that he's channeling. Like, he's like, oh, so you are capable of feeling regret. Once I see you feel that way towards Eri, um, yeah, if you're willing to direct that same energy towards Eri, like to me that just sounds like if you're able to feel this way about the little girl you hurt, I will reconsider granting your wish, which I think is a much more reasonable. I totally agree. It's a much more reasonable thing than him just being like, oh yeah, just come and visit this child and apologize to her while she like gets re-traumatized. So yeah. Uh, but aside from like that little thing, I mostly really like this chapter. like I'm a little. I don't know. The pace is again kind of weird. Like we suddenly just jump to him in the mansion,
Yeah, we
and
just we're doing a lot of time jumping in the
yeah,
past few.
yeah, which is a bit weird. Um, I also kind of think it's very disappointing if that was all that Overhaul was here for. If like his prison break only amounted to this, that's very disappointing. He just got busted out so he can yell a little bit because the police got them again. So unless they really do like interrogate him with Deku, uh, yeah, it's a bit of a shame if Overhaul doesn't get any more than that. And of course, I mentioned it last week. I'm not super happy about Hawks getting his wings back, but I'm not gonna harp on for too much because again, at this point, I'm the idiot. But aside from that, I really really liked it. Like, all for one, as
I
much.
don't love that All for One is like, aha, I'm gonna fight you now. Like, you fuck off, you scrotum man. You
Yeah.
need to get out of here. Get out of my story.
How
Get
many
out of
times?
my get out of my fucking story.
How many
But
times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Your time is over.
your time has passed, you old motherfucker. I want your grimy assistant back.
That is legitimately the thing. I cannot commit to really enjoying All for One until I'm positive on what Shigaraki's position in the story is. Um, but for what it's worth, I do think he's being really cool in this chapter. Where he's like, aha, I predicted everything, and people will always just act in these ways, and I, who is basically immortal, already know. Also, kaboom! You know, I like it. It's sort of like this old comic book villain vibe that you
I'm
don't.
Aizen, but not hot.
I am Aizen, but I look like a potato. And I do not have a sword. Um, but yeah, like I really do like how we're building around him. Like he feels like a force in the story that I didn't expect to like this much. Um, Again, I just need him to leave the story now, or sometime soon. But if he does that, I'm going to look back on these chapters fondly. And I also like Deku. Like I like his outlook on things, where he's like, "I just need to get this done, man. I just need to get this done." Like,
I just need to get this done and go back and take Uraraka to prom. That's what I gotta do.
look, man, Uraka's birthday is in like 2 months. We gotta do this. Speaking
The
of two,
clock is ticking, all
yeah,
right?
yeah. Speaking of 2 months, I'm interested in what that is about as well, because Nagant also specifically said, "Oh, we need to bring you to this mansion in 2 months." So I assume that's when Shigaraki will be completed, which is interesting. I like that it gives us a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Although, again, we might just skip to it next chapter, which would be a
With
shame.
the amount of jumping around we're doing, we're
Hmm.
gonna get a chapter that's all like, "Oh no, a bomb went off," and then they're gonna be like, "Okay," 3 months later, in the police station.
Yeah, although I find it interesting and kind of weird that he didn't get warned of the explosion by Danger Sense. Like I rechecked the chapter and I don't think he gets like the little lightning. Uh, but yeah, aside from that, super cool. I like the way they use the "now it's your turn" phrase, because like I like that the manga has kind of managed to turn such an inconspicuous phrase into like a generational statement for the story itself. It's cool because it can just invoke it without sounding too phony. Um, and of course, I like Deku's look. Like, I like that he like remakes his entire look after fight with Negan because everything got destroyed. He just has the cape again um and the hood, and we're at the level where like he has kind of a Jotaro thing going on, where like the hood fuses with his hair at some indeterminate point, and it looks really nice. So yeah,
Need that desperately. Um,
but yeah, like I'm having fun with this arc again, which I'm glad to be able
yeah,
to
I
say.
like that. I like the little bit of back before when All for One was like, I don't give a shit about this stupid kid. I'm just gonna kick your ass all might. But now he's like, hey, all right, kid,
Hmm.
you're you're doing big things. I'm gonna start fucking you up instead.
Yeah,
Like I like that. I like
yeah.
that. Also, this chapter has the most cursed Endeavor panel I've ever seen in my entire life.
Which is which one?
the one when they're about to walk into the mansion,
Oh yeah, he
and
looks.
he looks so bad. I'm just. This isn't even like an art critique, but it's just I'm cackling. Look at him. Look at this man. Look at this chunky man with his hand, which like, how far off your body is that hand, bro? Like, and then of course everyone else is like, all right, everyone, let's get ready. Be careful. And then Endeavor's like fucking screaming at the top of his lungs right outside this building they're trying to stealthily invade.
Everyone's like, all right, fellas, we're about to go. Deku, did you bring lunch?
Deku, be careful! The enemy wants to get you and take your quirk out, and we brought you here. You're leading the vanguard into the mansion. Be careful, Deku.
Deku, careful, they don't get one for all. The quirk you brought along that they need.
Best Genius is just then and be like, who brought this guy?
Who brought this amateur?
Who brought this fucking absolute amateur?
Although I will say, and I've mentioned this a couple times, I'm so sad we didn't get to see Endeavor's like reaction to getting revealed what One for All actually is, because I feel like that would have been interesting. You know, he's like, what the fuck? The power I was chasing was just transferable? Damn, rip Toya, I guess.
Suck, burn child.
Yeah. But yeah, also, one thing I want to mention is that I think last week we complained a little bit about Negan's change of conviction regarding Deku. But I like how it's followed up in this chapter, where it's like, it's not even really Deku that convinces her to give them the information. It's Hawks, and the fact that she's like, oh, this guy is in the same position that I was, and he still looks this hopeful. What the fuck? Right? Like, I feel like that's a more mature way of handling that, compared to just Deku going, you know, oh, you need to have hope.
Yeah, the Shonen speech, and she changes her mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely cooler this way. That again, from adult to adult. Basically, I'm just sitting here asking my shonen battle manga to be about adults, not about children. You hate to see it.
I'm asking my manga aimed at 15-year-olds to not be about 15-year-olds.
Yeah, like what the fuck? How can we
Why
not?
Iraqi's the goat until Giorno.
But yeah, do we have anything else immediately that comes to mind to you?
Stop killing the pretty ladies that I like. Don't kill Negan anymore, please. Let her live. And I really like the panel where Deku sets them down with Black Whip, and then she's like talking, and Hawks is like, "It's okay, I'm right here." And then in the background, Deku just fucking bounces off the pavement
because he's so fucked up.
Yeah, slams in the ground in the background.
Also, now that I'm looking at the panel again, right underneath that panel, you have all for one, recruiting his allies.
Yeah, his Power Ranger army that he's got right there.
Yeah, they all have actually very distinct shapes. At first, I thought these were like generic sort of goons, but look at like the small guy to his right. That looks like a deliberate design.
His face is in his chest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting. I wonder if we're actually gonna see these goons. Actually, holy shit! Wait a minute. Oh, to his right, there's this guy who looks like Chimera from the second movie. The weird monster villain.
You're speaking Greek to me, bro.
He's a cool villain from the second movie that everyone wants to see in the main story. So it's interesting to see him here. Like, it looks like Chimera. It's interesting. But to bring this back to a topic that I'm sure you have a couple of things more to say about, what do you think of All for One just name-dropping socialism, of all things?
Yeah, that was a little like, are you fucking kidding me? This man is like, yeah, everything's actually bad. Socialism, also bad. And I'm like, you shut the fuck up with this, please.
Well, he is a boomer. All he knows about socialism is from Facebook.
He's a Red Scare fucking.
He's like having this epic speech, and he takes a break just to tell Deku about the Russians.
This epic speech that he's giving is like half plagiarized from a Tucker Carlson episode.
Yeah, that was. I think that was actually interesting because That might be the first time we actually get like political words dropping in MHA. Like I've seen people in the chat being like, "Oh, I can't wait for them to talk about socialism, haha." But like, it generally took me aback because it's such a specific, like, political word to use in a shonen
It's
manga,
also
right?
weird when he drops like democracy and socialism, like those two things are diametrically opposed from one another.
Well, let's not get into trying to understand what Hori means with that. Because
It was just weird framing where he was like, "What, democracy, socialism? It doesn't matter." And I'm like, "Well, it's not like they're not like opposites, you know. There are no exceptions." I'm like, they're like pretty similar in the
wow,
grand scheme of things.
wow, look at this liberal mauling over the fact that All for One didn't praise socialism and instead
I'm
made it
just saying that like if you're gonna counter socialism, say like capitalism or something. Democracy versus socialism feels a lot like fucking. I don't even have a good analogy. They're like barely different.
Hey, you know, according to some people, they're pretty different.
Well, those people are dumb.
Yeah,
Stop
they are.
listening to those people.
Um, but I do kind of like that he's like, he almost takes this sort of eldritch quality to him where he's like, oh, like all these political ideologies and things, they kind of don't matter because I see humans for their base nature and that will never change. Again, it kind of positions him less as a character, more of a force, which is how I like my All for One. I like him as just the guy in the background who's evil, not the human being. Because I mean, right now he is literally just an evil smile on legs. That's it. That's all he is.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
He's pretty much just an evil smile in a suit.
are you telling me the main villain is just a man in a suit? Corporate capitalism is the main villain? I knew it. I knew it.
A clever critique on corporate culture.
Hori just telling us to stop working our cringe 9 to 5 and instead start gaming because that's more based.
This is much more based. Oh my god. I hate All for One.
Izuku Midoriya. Don't you think democracy is cringe pilled? Like the fucking thing explodes, and instead of actually killing Deku, he like wakes up and all of his social media has been deleted except Reddit. Except like the extremist right wing Reddit.
He's got Reddit and he's got Parlor. A new Parlor account that he didn't make.
That's how Deku finds out that All for One can control him as well to a limited amount. It's like, what the fuck? I don't remember liking this Ben Shapiro tweet. Like, what's happening?
Deku starts posting suspiciously right-wing YouTube videos.
Someone in the chat just said, All for One is the secret sponsor of PragerU.
He's got PragerU working overtime on this. The next PragerU video comes out, and it's like, why passing quirks to quirkless children is bad.
Why giving quirks to the quirkless is communism. It is.
It's gonna destroy our Western values if those who don't have quirks are just given quirks.
Our Western values of people's lives randomly sucking forever. But yeah, like, also another thing I noticed while I was rereading this chapter is you can actually hear the time bomb ticking throughout the entire chapter. It's super cool and subtle. I didn't notice it at first. I thought the sound effect was just like something else, but then I saw it's tick, 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 and then it goes click, and then boom, which is cool. I like it.
Hey, hero, fucking Deku, gonna be the number one hero. Maybe if you hear a ticking fucking bomb in the enemy's place, you should just get out.
It's even worse considering he has danger sense.
Yeah, if you have spider sense and also you hear ticking, maybe get out. Maybe leave. Everyone's like, I don't know what he's saying on that fucking TV, but we need to not be in here.
Yeah, couldn't the fucking fourth user just like pop into shadow vision and he's like, dude, I really don't want to interrupt your like political theory lesson, but that ticking ain't a clock.
Yeah, Deku's just sitting like, whose fucking clock is that? After Endeavor's screaming, they're just like, is Endeavor wearing a watch? Is he wearing a really loud watch right now
No,
while we're trying to do this?
all I can imagine is Endeavor, who's like, this huge guy, just having like a grandfather clock strapped to his wrist. It's like super loud. He's like, Deku has been in there for 5 minutes.
He wears it on his back like a backpack and hauls it around to the front when he needs to check what time it is.
Actually, speaking of Endeavor and like embarrassing shit, one of my favorite running gags in MHA is that like Endeavor keeps not getting replied to when he texts someone. He keeps getting left on red. It's the funniest shit. But
I would too. I would leave his ass on red, no question.
I would ask him, how did he get his ass so fat? And then I would hang up.
Also, one of my favorite comments in the chat, we didn't have time to stop and acknowledge it, was they said that Shinzo Abe is going to be cutting the funding to MHA because he killed a hot lady.
Oh my god.
Shinzo Abe cutting a higher percentage of the profits.
Well, we're on the live show. He does have different rights because we're on the air, considering he has given up his rights.
True.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Because I think I went over all my things.
No, I think I'm good. I like how Deku's new mask has like a Spider-Man vibe to it with the eyes and the I don't know. I like it. It gives me big Western masked hero vibes.
Yeah, in general, I really like his new fit. I saw someone on Twitter say that, the eyes of All Might kind of represent the eyes of the symbol of peace, and Deku's wearing a mask to emulate it, to kind of show that society can't even work with that anymore. I thought that was kind of cool. Shout out to, who is it, Asarata? Just the one MHA account on Twitter.
Said that stuff.
Yeah, that one MHA account who has a dog in his profile picture. You know who you are. But yeah. So what do we give MHA?
Pretty Lady Go Boom out of 10.
Boomers out of 10. Sometimes it just comes to me.
It's natural. It's natural. Oh my god.
You good, man?
I'm good.
Well, good, because it's not like I can help you, being about 7,000 kilometers away from you. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
All right, does that mean we move on to the callers?
I believe so. We do have a few people in there.
All right. Well,
let's see.
You bring someone in. You're the Discord.
Everyone's muted, so I don't know who's even actually talking.
Well, I don't know.
You know what? We're gonna pull.
Oh wait, Trader got unmuted, I think. Oh, Coin Trader as well.
Oh, everyone's unmuted. They heard me say everyone's muted. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, turn up."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna go ahead and move Cole first because I know I can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Can't trust the rest of you people.
Oh,
hello.
Why, hello.
Oh, Jesus,
hello.
You're loud.
Welcome. For you, the loud boy.
Yeah,
man's
let me put it down.
That's
loud.
passion. That's what that is.
Yeah. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's 11:20 a.m. on the West Coast.
Chill.
It's like the middle of the night for you, right, Ocean Man?
Not the middle of the night. It's 8:30 p.m. So it's like dinner time.
That still makes you a time traveler.
Hey, look, it's not my fault y'all live in the wrong time zone. I'm sorry. My condolences.
Yeah, the right time zone is definitely fucking Switzerland. Global powerhouse. Switzerland.
Anyway, Cole, tell us, what were your top 3 this week?
Okay, so I actually I read most of the chapters right while the beginning of the show was happening.
Oh, great.
So my thoughts are still very fresh. Mashle wasn't in, not Mashle. Mashle was in my top three. Undead Unluck wasn't in my top three, but I just wanted to mention that the dragon design in the chapter is sick as fuck because it specifically reminds me of Cyber Dragon stuff from Yu-Gi-Oh!
It does look like Cyber Dragon.
And that's sick as hell. And it also kind of looks like Tsumiki Yuki's what I assume is a Shikigami design, but we haven't gotten confirmation on that, so who knows?
Oh yeah, the little pipe dragon.
I always want to call it like a mosquito or a dragonfly or something. It looks so weird.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like
Oh, he's trying his best. The little guy.
what's
It's
what species is it? It's just a little guy.
It's just a little dude doing his best, man. You gotta judge him because he's not a real full-blooded dragon.
little guy is my favorite genre of animal. I Jujutsu Kaisen was top one, but I really enjoyed My Hero Academia this week. And then Mashle was top three because Mashle's the first time I've read a manga and then like actually laughed out loud consistently while reading it. So that's been really nice.
Okay.
Uh, hmm. Hmm.
Tough competition otherwise.
I'm still kind of mad that you guys were shitting on Yuki's little dragon, man.
We're not
No,
shitting on him.
No, it's a great design, and I was just about to add that it also kind of reminds me of those little wooden bird things that dip down into the water perpetually. It's got like the weird snout.
You guys are on thin ice. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You're on probation.
Oh God.
The Shikigami police over here.
Oh, that reminds me. Thoughts on Dr. Stone? You guys were talking about Dr. Stone and how it felt kind of like the end of a season, and I agree with that. I wanted to add that oh, sorry, no, not that's not what I wanted to say. I was thinking of Ocean, what you were saying about how you liked how the progression and pacing of the story has kind of followed the curve upwards of their technological progress,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the things I really enjoyed about the earlier chapters, even though sometimes they felt a lot slower and there was like more to get through. Was that the writing had more explanations and more detail about the tech and like what was going on. And I know that not everyone will care very much, but like when we see the panel of all the different metals, I want more than just they combine to make these. And I'm very interested in actually getting a little bit about each of them because I also like again, have never heard of the alloy they're combining into,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like how well in the earlier chapters the writing explains it in layman's way. So I'm hoping that that continues into the next bit. Also, very, very cool that they strapped a rocket engine onto a boat. Very, very cool.
Can co-sign most of that, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah, I have noticed that they seem to be doing that less and less lately, where they'll before when they would give the science blueprint, they would always have that one character that's like, I don't get it. And then Senku would be like, ugh, okay. Let me explain to you, idiot, how this works. Now they're just kind of like, oh, okay, Senku's doing a thing. We're just going to do what he says
Mhm.
because he's always right. But
Yeah.
it does
No,
take a little bit away that you're not like, not that I could follow the science before either, but I can certainly follow it even less now.
it's funny you mentioned that because I think there's a specific panel and set of speech bubbles where Senku is doing a thing, and Gen is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says the name of the thing, and then Gen's like, "I don't get it," and then Senku's like, "Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't," and then like repeats it slightly less complicated, but still not layman's, and then Gen's
Yeah,
like, "Yeah," and
idiot.
then we just move on, and I'm like, "Okay, cool, I don't get it either. Thanks, Senku."
Yeah, it's almost like at the start, they kind of wanted to go with like almost an educational gimmick as like the thing to sell it with, and then as the story progressed, it seems like that has kind of shifted into the background. That's like my immediate hot take on this as I'm hearing this.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think that's most likely the case that it's not the hook anymore of the series, so they're just not spending as much time on it as they did before.
I also wonder if maybe it has something to do with the actual subject matter of the technology in the last couple chapters, because I imagine that the editorial team would not want their mangaka like giving you educational lessons on how to like utilize poison gas.
Mm. That's true. I mean, it's an interesting discussion to have though about like the ethics of that, because technically we are talking about a magazine that just continuously shows us, hey, violence is actually really cool. And like, to what extent do you separate that from, is it encouraging violence? But I do agree that when you give actual tutorials on how to make cyanide, obviously that's not good, right?
Oh, I get. Now I'm just thinking. Now I'm just imagining kids reading Shonen Jump and then like actually like screaming like friendship, power, and related things when they get into school fights.
Dude, have you never seen that?
I saw a fair number of kids when I was in middle school trying to Dragon Ball Z scream into Super Saiyan.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately,
You never seen
the Naruto run was the most popular though.
Yeah, exactly. Naruto Run and the Sasuke imitators. That was big, big at our
God.
school. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Sasuke Edge kids.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no.
But okay. Was there anything else you wanted to talk to us about, Cole? While we have
Yeah,
you here.
actually, Zen and I suppose Ocean as well. I was curious about both of your I don't want to say schedules because they're not schedules, but I'm curious about how both like if you what your process is when you both go about making like a standalone video not related to Shonen and Chill.
Oh, Zen, do you want to go first or shall I go?
Okay, well, my process of here, you guys ready for this? So I script it out. I throw the script away because I don't like it. I make 2 or 3 more. Settle on the one that I like. Then I go about recording each paragraph on its own. I make up in my brain how I want all the editing to look, and then I scrap all that because I can't do it. And so then I make a much more simple version of it that I can do, and then I finally put it all together, and then I don't release it because I don't like it. So I have like 3 videos that I'm just sitting on.
Oh.
Yeah, this is not a question, but you should absolutely release those. That they're probably amazing, and you're just too hard on yourself.
Yeah, people keep saying that, and then I release it. And I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever done. So we'll get there. One of
Well,
these days, I'll be tired enough where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'm putting it out.
well, while we have you on this topic, Zen, can you just release that Gojo video you had me make the thumbnail for?
Please.
That's one of the
I
ones
need
that's
it.
done.
It's what is it? Is it
I
done?
need it so bad.
I have that one, a Megami one, and a Sukuna one that I
Oh
could
my
put out, and I'm just like, oh no, I'm
dude, that's like
scared.
Those all sound amazing.
yeah, that's like 3 weeks of consistent content. Like that's also like not bad in terms of like the algorithm.
I don't know. I'm scared, little content creator. I'm spooked.
Well, obviously all on your own pace, but honestly, at least the Gojo video you have run by me, or at least a little bit, and that one generally sounds great. So nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You know how it is.
I'll do my. It'll come out before 2022. I promise.
Okay.
Bet we'll
Oh,
hold
yeah,
you to
you
that.
you should release it on the eve of the Utah thing. Not the
The-
Utah thing. What am I thinking? Volume 0 movie.
So the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, just release it the day before Christmas Eve.
to,
That'll be
qu-
great.
to quote the chat, release the Zen cut.
Oh my God. Zen Zack Snyder collaboration.
Release the Gojo cut.
Oh.
So do I go? Because
Yeah, go for it.
okay, so my process is kind of split into 2 phases. Where one is the low-key phase, which is when I have university and I have to juggle it with content creation. And there, basically, the rule is I work when I can, and my process is pretty much always the same. I write a script out. Usually that comes naturally to me because I just have a bunch of ideas in my head and I just pace around my room and talk to myself a little, then I write them. Sometimes I take a shower. Don't clip that. And then
Clip that immediately.
then I record. Takes me maybe half a day at most, and then I edit whenever I have time. And that's like the low-key time when I'm at uni. When I'm not at uni, this is when I kick into high production gear, and there it's basically Monday I script 8 hours. from as much as I can. Like I just bust out one script after another, and what is done by the end of the day is done. Then on Tuesday, I record again as much as I can, backlog stuff, anything that I can record, I do on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I edit. And then Sunday is rest day except Shonen N Chill. And so that's pretty much my process. And that nets me about like a video, 2 videos a week. And that's how I build up a backlog that I can just release whenever I'm too busy. But that obviously doesn't work out all the time, right? Like sometimes stuff just doesn't work. But yeah, so that's kind of my process there.
That is very, very interesting and also very contrasting to Zen's process.
Well, I do think I've been. Wait, have I been doing this longer than you, Zen? Do we know this?
You've been doing it with some semblance of actual production value longer than me.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like, it took me a long time to get a process, right? Cause like, especially the first year before I was monetized, I just kind of thought, okay, this is just a hobby. There's no point in putting in too much effort. I'll just do stuff because I like talking, and I've always been like this, right? Like, when I used to watch series as a kid, I'd finish them, and the first thing I'd do, I'd run up to my dad and tell him the plot because I just loved doing that. And so, that was kind of my first year on YouTube where I didn't have a process, where it was just that, but with an audience except of my dad. And then once I got monetized, I was like, okay, let's take this a bit more seriously. And so since then onwards, pretty much every break season from university, I've developed new ways of making it more efficient to varying degrees of success. So, but let me counter ask you, why do you ask this question? Are you interested in making content yourself?
It's one of the things that I have thought about doing, but have always thought it would come at the cost of like other things in my life that I can't give up. Like I spend so much time doing art that I have this personal rule to never get too invested into like another hobby or anything else because I get addicted or passionate about those things very easily. And I know if I did, I would just stop doing art as much as I need to. And that's I mostly also just ask because everyone I've asked the question is always giving me a slightly different answer, and sometimes there are tidbits of interesting things in there that I could use to improve my own productivity, which, oh, God knows, that would be good.
Aw. Well, hey, from what we've seen in the Discord, what you produce is top notch. So, just keep at it, my man.
Absolutely. Quality
Well,
stuff.
Thank you very much. I don't want to take too much of your time, though. You guys have a lot of other people to get through, so if you want to throw someone else in here.
Yeah, probably we should do that,
thank
right?
you for calling in, and thank you for watching the chat for us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, my man.
Of course, yeah. Unfortunately, it was kind of silent, so, I hope there are no surprises.
Oh,
Well, I'm quick on the movement button if there is. So.
Okay, that's good. That's very good to
Alright,
hear, yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
I can
Yeah,
sob
mute
on
button,
command.
quick draw of the West. You guys have a good...
Oh, he's gone. There we go.
Alright, let's see. Everyone remuted. They don't want to talk to each other. They only want to talk to us.
Yeah, exactly. Do we want to do how many?
Hang out.
How many more do you think we want to do? Like 2 more, maybe?
I don't know. We're not. I never expected us to get through the entire waiting room. I would say probably 4 people total.
Yeah. Okay. So like 3 more or so.
The chat is begging for One Smart, but One Smart is not off mute. I'm only moving people who aren't muted. So
yeah, exactly.
How about Big Blue Drew?
That sounds interesting.
We're doing Big Blue Drew.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. So like 3 more or so.
Oh God.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I think you're listening to us, and I think we're listening to ourselves through your microphone.
Yeah. Sorry. It's my Blue Yeti. It's freaking amazing, and I really like the sound quality of it. Oh wow, this is okay. I'm a little bit nervous now.
Oh, don't be. We're all friends here.
Well, yeah.
You just listen to us talk about the dumbest shit in the world for like 2 hours. You're good, bro.
Oceans, you don't understand how much that actually means to me. To actually have friends as an anime person. Oh my gosh, this is so great. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching you for a while, Oceans, Zenrotto. I just started watching you. You told me to come to the Discord, and now I'm here. And this is actually the first time I'm actually talking to people on Discord for the first time. So you could say that you are taking my Discord virginity.
Oh damn! Oh shit! That's a
Clip
lot.
that. Do not clip that.
I don't quote me. I don't care.
Actually, you know what?
have
Shinzo
no
Abe
soul.
would be thrilled, so it's probably fine.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
I'll probably start with my top 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, mine was Dr. Stone was number 3. Jujutsu Kaisen, even though it only had 9 pages, was number 2. And number 1, you could probably guess which one it is. My Hero Academia, because obviously I am a My Hero Academia fanboy.
Well, you say that, but where would we see that actually?
Oh, you would see it. I don't want to plug this, but I started a YouTube channel and I talk about My Hero Academia chapter reviews. So
Oh, dope.
I feel as if I feel as if if I wasn't a fanboy, I wouldn't have done that. So I can say
The channel
that-
name Big Blue Drew 97.
Yes.
All right, there you
don't
go.
Yeah, don't ask me how I created that name. It's just something that I thought of from a nickname that someone called me in middle school.
Hey, fair enough, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah.
Did you have anything
Yeah,
you wanted to chat with us about then?
Yes, Oceans. I have a lot to talk about when it comes to your hot takes on My Hero Academia.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, no,
not.
I'm finally being held accountable. No.
Yes, you are. I'm holding you accountable, and I'm going to. I hate your comments about Deku's 6 quirks.
Uh-oh.
we disagree on opposite sides because
Oh
I
God!
actually.
What have I done?
Yeah, I know. As soon I realized when you did this, I realized if you bring me in, this is what I'm going to talk about. I apologize, but I just need to talk to you about this.
Sure.
I think what Hirikoshi is doing with the 6 quirks is actually really good, and it's rooted in what we learned, like when we first learned about like the different quirks, like when we first learned about Black Whip and when we first learned about float. And I think that what Hirikoshi is doing is actually really good because if you remember back to when we first learned about Nanashimura's quirk, Float, and Black Whip, and when at that moment Deku learned potentially about the other quirks, we have Bakugo who basically said that, oh, I'm already better than you because these quirks are nothing. And Deku responds with, oh no, they're cool quirks, but even All Might chimed in, it's like, not necessarily. And I think it's at that moment, at least for me, when I realized these quirks aren't going to be anything like spectacular. It's not going to be like Bakugo's explosion or Todoroki's half hot, half cold. They're just going to be like generic basic quirks that really do not have that much application for a hero, except for the fact that they are boosted by One for All. Like, for instance, like when it came to like Danger Sense, and you've always talked about how you wanted Deku to train these quirks and how you wanted them to see the training in action. For me personally, how I viewed it is that these are quirks, with the exception of Black Whip, aren't quirks that you can like actually train with. You can learn how to get better with them, but with like Float, all Deku can do is float. He can't fly, as we've seen with like a similar quirk of like Skywalk that Lady Nagan had. She can only walk on air. She can't fly, but using her quirk of like Sniper Rifle, she's able to basically fly. And the same can be said about Deku's Float. He can only just float, but because he has the power of One for All behind it, that gives him the actual ability to fly. And I kind of viewed each quirk in that vein, that on its own, it doesn't really do that much, and that it's only actually like combat viable because it's a part of One for All, with the only exception of Black Whip, which we've actually seen it being trained. So that's just kind of how I viewed it, and I never thought that Deku would be able to like train these quirks to the same extent as Black Whip, because it wasn't necessary, because they're very simple, they're very simplistic, and don't really require that much like of a learning curve, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can agree, I think, with everything you said, and I can definitely see your perspective on it. Because my problem necessarily isn't that we'd get to see, like, you know, a full training arc for every quirk, right? Like, in fact, I remember when the quirk reveal first happened, one of the first things I wanted was at least one of the quirks to be completely useless. To, like, really sell this thing of, you know, anyone was given One for All, not because they were strong, but because they were just there, you know, because they were fighting for their fucking lives. My problem with the quirks, how they've been handled specifically, has been not necessarily training or not training, but rather the fact that they kind of just appear and I don't really have much of a connection to them. To me, the fact that Deku has like 6 quirks, to me that should be a big deal. You know, quirks are obviously the foundational principle of My Hero Academia's drama, and you have people like Todoroki who have arguably 2 quirks, and it's a huge thing. And with Deku, the 6 quirks should be an even bigger thing, and it doesn't really feel like that to me, especially in this last arc when he just whips them out like that. Like, I think we're past the point where Hori would be willing or ergonomic in doing a big training arc for each quirk, but I definitely think we could have gotten a bit more substance to them rather than just having them revealed at the tip of the action. But, since you mentioned, my hot takes on Twitter, I do also want to reiterate that I'm kind of over it by this point. I've accepted that what I wanted is probably not going to come at this point. So yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from here.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I guess it's just different personal perspectives. Like you said that you view these quirks as a big deal, and I would have said the same, except for the fact that what Bakugo said, that these quirks aren't really that great. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Bakugo said that, and All Might straight up agreed with it, it just clicked in my mind. I'm like, okay, then these quirks are just gonna be utility. That mm-hmm. they're not gonna, because when you really think about it, with the exception of literally Black Whip, none of these quirks are really able to be used. If someone in the main story had any of these quirks, with the exception of Black Whip, they probably would not have been heroes at all. Mm-hmm. None of these quirks are specifically used or specifically tailored to be able to fight a villain.
Point, there's a kid in the hero class that literally just has a tail. So
I mean, yeah, but the difference is that tail is something that can actually be used in combat. We do see Ojiro actually physically knock people down, actually do damage. He can actually hurt someone with the quirk. But then you have the quirk of oh gosh, I forgot what it is. Danger Sense. Mm-hmm. If a hero just had Danger Sense, what can he really do against the villain? Oh, he can predict that. Oh, someone's about to hit me. Okay, let me just move out the way. If they're not physically strong enough or fast enough to do that, they're just gonna be hit. It's like with Spider-Man.
Search and rescue hero.
Well, I mean, yeah, he can't search and rescue, but it's Danger Sense. It senses the danger, unless he's on the scene and he senses a danger already happening, he can't really do anything to stop it or prevent it unless he is actually physically strong enough to do it. For instance, with Ochako's quirk, she can control gravity for the most part, but we see that that just on its own isn't strong enough for her to be a hero just straight up, which is why she learned gunhead martial arts. As we saw in the anime, sure, she can let herself float, but if there's nothing around her to float with, if she can only float herself, there's nothing else she can really do. But with the addition of gunhead martial arts, she's able to take people down. And I think that's how I view the quirks, that they need something else for the person to hold them, in this instance Deku, to actually be useful. And that's why they are a part of One for All. That they aren't capable of doing anything really on their own, like I said, for the exception of Black Whip. But because they are now a part of One for All, now that they can be more powerful and actually useful in a more combat-centered environment and actually help when it comes to saving people. Danger Sense can predict the action, but because the user has an ability like One for All to actually act upon Danger Sense with enough speed, it becomes more helpful than just a normal person that can predict danger.
Yeah, but now most of what you've talked about now is of the quirks in terms of power, in their validity as strong big deals on the merit of their power level, so to speak. And I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah.
To me, when I say I want them to be a big deal, it doesn't mean that I want them to be, game-changing for Deku. I definitely agree that they're cooler the way they are in terms of what powers they are, right? So far I don't think there's been a power that I'm upset with that he hasn't. My problem again is just that when you have a story,
hasn't learned the second uses quirk yet, so
that's true. That could still be garbage, but I'm not gonna sit here and doom post about MHA. I have my Twitter for that. But when I say that I wish they were more of a big deal, I kind of wish they were treated by the story more like a big deal in the sense of how they're presented, not necessarily in what they do. Because, the story has built up quirks as this thing that changed life for everyone. And when you then have someone, like All for One, who can redistribute quirks, that is a huge deal. And then you have Deku, who has these multiple quirks, and it's just a thing that he can do, for the most part. It's just a thing that comes up and enriches his choreography. And, for the better, right? Like, his choreography is awesome right now. But I just wish that him unlocking them and him learning about them would have been more of a specific thing. Like, a good example of that is when, I think it's last chapter or the chapter before, when he, in his head, runs us down of how he used Fajin in conjunction with Black Whip and his other quirks. Like, that shit's awesome. I would have loved to see Deku actually think and his thoughts and feelings about these quirks a little bit more before we got, like, the big combat reveal for it. But at the end of the day, that's kind of just a preference of, like, where do you put the reveal versus the information, right? You want the information first and the reveal later, or yada, 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 right? Like, that's kind of where I stand.
I'm giving you guys a 1-minute warning so we can get to some other people.
Okay.
Fight quickly.
Let me just say this. Okay, I understand that. I'm just going to bring up this one point. Remember, at the beginning of My Hero Academia, Deku basically says, all men are not created equal, or at least in the anime. And that can apply to quirks. That, yeah, you have those powerful quirks, but then you have Deku's mom's quirk that's literally able to, like, pull things closer to her. Like, even though, yes, quirks are important, but they're also mundane and unimportant. And in a society that is built on quirks, they become less important. Like, to quote a specific supervillain, if everyone has power, then no one is special. Super, no one else is special.
Cultured.
And in a world that is filled with quirks, oh, you have a quirk? Oh, it's not flashy, it's not entertaining. Oh, then it's nothing. And I think that's what Deku's quirks are. Oh, as we saw with Bakugo. Oh, he could just sense danger. Anything else?
Okay, so
right, it's not that useful.
Okay, so in a way, basically, what you're postulating here is that the narrative reasoning we've given for the quirk's mundanity reinforms the structural mundanity of the quirks' appearance, right? That they're there because quirks. Some quirks are just I can jiggy with that. If you'd write that in a video or something, I'd accept that. Like, no problem.
Yeah. I will say that I do have a video, but I forgot. Oh yeah, sorry, I can't talk about that. More people have to get in. Like, I would love to talk to y'all both a lot more. My Hero Academia fanboy. I talk about My Hero on my YouTube channel, so I'm gonna let someone else come in. I don't want to take away from anyone's opportunities to talk to y'all. So I really enjoyed it, and hopefully I can talk to y'all if y'all continue to do this later on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No problem. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for holding me accountable for the garbage I say online. And
no, it's fine. But it's fine. And if I could, and is it okay if I do just a quick plug?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So, hi everyone listening. I'm Big Blue Drew 97. I talk about My Hero Academia, starting to get into Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of shonen manga, as well as My Hero Academia Vigilantes. So, if you're interested in any of those topics, you can find me at Big Blue Drew 97. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thanks y'all for having me on.
Absolutely.
Sir, thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining. Subscribe to Big Blue. All right.
He said Vigilantes, so I had to get him out quick.
Okay, let's do one more because it is kind of getting late for me.
Yeah, that's all right. Who do you think?
Who's?
The chat is desperate for one smart.
And he is unmuted.
Desperate for one smart. Do we have to do it?
Let's do it. I want to meet the Black Clover guy.
All right.
I want to meet the Black Clover guy. Let's go. Hello.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Do we have
Oh no. He got in, but he can't speak. He's petrified.
Oh no.
He's terrified of the notion of having to talk about. Wait. I'm hearing sound.
Hey.
Oh wait, you're kind of loud. Wait, let me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Speak a little again, so I can adjust the volume.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. A little bit too quiet, but I'll do that. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, perfect. Hi, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Good. Like the Boruto episode was fantastic this week.
Yes, I believe it was. So, what are your top 3?
I've been trying to think about it. I was like trying to put them in order. I was like number 3, Undead Unluck. Number 2, Dr. Stone. Number 1, Mashle.
Oh, interesting. And like anything like special about your list that you want to talk about?
Shin was amazing as always. And goodness, I came in here to bully Zen about Black Clover.
Oh,
And then I got nervous.
it's
See,
okay.
I told you guys. You put too much weight on his shoulders. He's stressed out. You're expecting too much of this man. The chat is all saying, please say the Black Clover line.
Yeah, goodness. Cause I was really wanting to ask you where y'all had stopped at, cause like the episodes were conflicting information. Cause it felt like the Witch's Forest arc or the Elf arc.
I stopped. Hang on. I will scroll all the way back to Black Clover and click on it, and then that will make my app think that I actually want to read it. It's gonna keep throwing it in my face.
As it should.
All right, let's see. This is. Oh my god, it's really far down here. It's really far down here. Chapter 207.
What was that? Was that the elf arc?
Yeah, they're fighting the demon guy.
Oh, right.
In the middle of the fight? What?
Yeah, he's like disintegrating, and asks like, I don't have any magic, but I am good at things. And then I was like, I'm gonna not click on this anymore.
All right, so I guess it's time to be held accountable then.
It's in the middle of the. You didn't even see the aftermath. What is this?
I can't imagine the aftermath would have made it very much better. But hey, maybe it did. Maybe the aftermath is where it went from mind numbing to Kino. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Let's see. They blew him up, and he was like, "Aha, that was awesome." Lich blew him up, and then he's like, "Yeah, but also, I'm a heart, and you can't kill me." And they're like, "Oh my god, we can't kill him. What do we do?" And then Ast is like, "I can kill him." And then that's where it ends.
It looks at him and is like, "Yeah, do the thing." Like, what is? Is that the what? I'm correcting some opinions over the internet.
He's got his own audience with him now. Listen to him talk about Black Clover on the internet.
Let's go.
You're the one that's rude. You're so mean.
Goodness, yeah, I have coworkers. They're nice people.
Come on here.
Hi, coworkers.
Hi.
Thank you for inadvertently tuning into the show.
Yeah, we're sorry.
I didn't mean to put this on you while you're at work.
Yeah.
You're already suffering under capitalism.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yes. The capitalist stooge known as the cashier.
Oh. Well, is this even then a good time for you to be in here then? I mean, we don't want to put you into a bad spot or anything.
I don't want you to get you. I don't want you to get you fired so you can shill Black Clover on my podcast.
In the training room doing online training, it should be fine. They seem fine.
There you go.
Okay.
Making shilling your manga on company time. That's what I'm talking about.
Isn't that what you do, Zen, anyway?
Stick it to the capitalist.
So, was there anything you wanted to like specifically ask us, or is it just asking us why we don't talk about Black Clover?
I didn't get to read Oceans because because you did the video on Black Clover, but then you suddenly stopped, and then I was like, I was waiting on part 2 to that, but then you replaced it with JJK, and it was like, oh. he made the same
Damn,
video twice.
what a fucking glow up that was.
It's
No.
like you made the same video twice. Like you like had MHA be the emotional one, and then like the other shonen just be the action buddy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, because I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Is that work? Is that related?
Yes, yes.
I work this day.
I think he's getting in trouble as we speak right
Oh
now.
shit, man.
Well, I guess I'll catch y'all later.
Okay, take care. Sorry.
Sorry that we got you fired. Blame the chat, not us.
I worked all that. Had this all.
Well, damn. That was interesting.
Got him in trouble. Oh no.
Oh fuck, I feel awful now.
Not one smart.
No. Okay, one smart, when you rewatch this in the VOD, hopefully you will, please comment and tell us that everything is alright.
Yeah, please let us know that you didn't get fired when this episode goes up on YouTube.
Yeah, Jesus, oh god. Well, it did kind of take time, so do we end it here?
Yeah, I think this is a good place to end it for
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I don't think
We've
we
been
can
going
follow
for
this
about
up.
2 hours.
I don't think we can follow this up. Well, oh god. Well, anyway, thank you all for coming here tonight and following us on our first live journey, which I think went pretty well. What do you think, Zen?
I had a great time. I think the live episode was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely I was definitely very nervous. Like especially going in, I think I was very annoying today to everyone who got to deal with me because I was very nervous about it. But yeah,
I think you did a great job, buddy.
You too, man. Upload
Thank
that
you.
Gojo video for the love of God.
Not you too. Not you too.
But in that case, I guess there's nothing else left to say. But goodbye, and we'll catch you next week, not live, because I believe next
back on the recording next week. But we will do more of these at some point, when scheduling permitting.
back to the save recordings where nothing bad can happen to people who chime in. Jesus.
Back where nobody gets fired.
Oh God. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. See you around.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.